Hi and welcome to all the racing fans and enthusiasts around the globe joining us for the pre-recorded show. We're recording on Saturday for the Turffontein meeting on the Standside track on Sunday. So looking forward to the meeting, and once again joining us on the line, the informed Alistair Cohen. Alistair, firstly, how are you doing? And I believe the horses are listening to the advice at the moment.
It's long overdue. Thank you, Sheldon. Yeah, I'm doing very nicely, thanks. Looking forward to what's going on next week with the second leg of the Triple Crown of Volkerbos Triple Tiara, where it looks like the same old suspects will dominate in Sandringham Summit. Give me another. But yeah, it's a good time to come into form. It's been a good week. Hopefully we can finish the week strongly on the Sunday card. A couple of feature races to look forward to. The 5-runner Bohemia Handicap, and also the Grade 3 National Currency Sprint, which sees the return of Lucky Lad. Obviously, the weekend highlight was Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, but this is not a bad way to put the cherry on it.
Right, let's get straight into the action. It's a 9-race program, so the first race will be due off at 12:15. Now we have an odds-on favourite. Majority of the field are unraced in the first. So looking at the Mount of Gavin Larena after that second on debut, priced up at 5-10. And then we've got Legend of Arthur number 4, the Sean Terry Richard Ferree combination. How strong do you rate this favourite in this contest? Obviously the first time it's difficult to gauge, but this horse was quite an impressive debut.
Yeah, Sheldon, I think what we've got to isolate is that Pistol Pete is probably the best 2-year-old Colton Joburg that we've seen so far. He's going to start red-hot favourite in next week's Stormbird Stakes at Turffontein on the 2nd of March. Kimrick is a half-brother to Egyptian Mao, who's a very well-performed daughter of Fire Away, trained by Lucky Hudolakis. She's placed at the highest level. And I spoke to Johan Janse van Vuren after this horse's debut, and he says, very, very nice horse. He was pleased with the first run behind Pistol Pete. He doesn't wind them up first time out, and he says that there are hopes and aspirations for this horse to be in feature races sooner rather than later. He too, in fact, is nominated in the Stormbird next week, but it looks like this is just a more natural place to start. Obviously, the first timers we don't know much about. The most appealing on genetics is number 4, Legend of Arthur, the son of Lancaster Bomber. As you mentioned, Richard Ferree takes a ride for Sean Terry. It's certainly worth watching the betting on Legend of Arthur, but he'll have to be good to turn over number 1, Kimrick.
Right, let's move on to race number 2. Race number 2, this will be over 1,000 meters. And once again for the youngsters, a juvenile plate. And this time it is for the fillies. Having a look at the betting, they got number 4, Kindred Heart at 22-10. And looking at Kindred Heart, a third and a second. So if you're going in the pattern, should end up in the winner's box. But it's never as easy as that. Number 3, Golden Chandelier at 3-1. And then number 2, Gallic Dancer at 33-10. How do you read race number 2, Alistair? Obviously a couple of first-timers in the event, but tell us what you've thought of number 4, Kindred Heart, in her 2 efforts to date.
Far more complex than race 1 here, Sheldon. Although Kindred Heart looks to be a natural top selection, and she is the top selection, I don't think this is quite as straightforward. Obviously, the betting suggests that it won't be. She stepped up nicely. As you say, if the sequence is to be believed, third, then second, then probably a win would be a deserved result for this daughter of Erupt. I like her last start coming off a short layoff from one of the earlier juvenile races into mid-February, where she ran second behind It's Her Way. I thought It's Her Way won with a degree of ease. So, there might be vulnerabilities with number 4, Kindred Heart. She's back just 6 days later, or rather 8 days later, which you don't see too often with the baby. So she obviously took her race well. But that smacks of a little bit of desperation to get her, probably more respectability going into feature races next week, but she too holds an entry for the Ruffian Stakes. Gaelic Dancer, there was a bit of talk about her first time out. She fluffed her lines, but she'll come on with that run under the belt. Gavin Larena takes a ride. I'm not prepared to ride off her chances. And then there are a couple of first-timers that make appeal. The only trainer that made a comment about his first-timer in this race was Paul Matched about number 5, Tipperary. She's quite interesting as far as the pedigree is concerned, but we'll need the run comments at face value. And then number 7, Varvara, and 8, Winning Beauty. They could have something about them first time out. Obviously, 7, Varvara, ridden by Ryan Munger for Sean Terry. Watch the market. She's related to a few well-performed sprinters, one that was trained by Dennis Dreyer, whose name currently escapes me. And then number 8, Winning Beauty. I'll tell you what makes the most appeal about Winning Beauty is Simango Kamalo running for Wayo Maui. I've not seen that in a decade. Well, not seen that too often in a decade. And when they were together, they absolutely fired. So maybe I'm just keeping safe. For Kindred Heart, the right one, but there are a few in here with chances. The market will tell you more come race 2.
Guiding us along to race number 3 and stepping on the gas, this will be the opening leg of the Place Accumulator, being a 9-race program as we bring the visuals on screen with all the runners and all the information that you need. The betting suggests that number 7, Too Late My Mate, from 2-1 down 15 to 10. However, number 8, World of Alice, 5-1. Shortened 7-2 and has now eased 4-1. Number 1, Intros at 5-1 and then 11-2 and better. Number 7, Too Late My Mate. Will this be your first selection, Alistair?
Yeah, she will, Sheldon. I thought her first run to Vision of Peace was fair. We've seen Alec Laird's horse Sunset Riot on Thursday do pretty much the same thing, and that it was a pleasing debut and then step up big time from run 1 to run 2. There was another one a few weeks ago as well. I've spoken to Alec about his youngsters because just before the Met, we went to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth and showed him around, and so he could see all the developments and the reconstruction of Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. And I was chatting to him about his youngsters. And he said he hasn't got as many as he had in previous years, but he's got a very, very nice crop of 2-year-olds. He's optimistic about where they're going to take him. And Too Late My Mate could be one of those who qualifies. Could have been a much worse first run, beaten a length by Vision of Peace. The form might look a little bit dicey for now, but I think we've got to give it the benefit of the doubt. There were only 7 runners in the race, and the horses who have come out of that form, didn't exactly shine behind Vision of Peace. So I think the money is a fair marker of her chances. So she is a top selection. In fact, she's a PA banker. In the bar pot, I would recommend one of the first timers, either 5, Queen of Love, or 8, World of Alice. World of Alice, interesting. Daughter of One World, they look nice and precocious and speedy and ready and raring to go. There are a few at the BSA Cape Sale on Sunday that look like they have something about them. Obviously, we'll never know until they get to the track, but the One Worlds have been a solid talking point over the last few months. And 5, Queen of Love, is also nicely enough bred, and with Gavin Lorena on board, that makes me think a little bit that there could be a nice run, a nice debut from this Daughter of Rafif. But again, much like the first race, perhaps with a little less confidence. Too Late My Mate, hard horse to beat, and the first timers will have to be good to beat her.
Then we're moving on to race number 4, which will be the opening leg of the Pick 6. It will be run over 1,000 meters. And at this stage of recording, 5 runners will face the starter. And the opening leg of the Pick 6, 2 runners joint at 11-10. Number 1, Golden Sickle, and Troppo Veloce, number 2. And then it's 7-1, barring these 2 joint favourites. So I suppose, Alistair, you've taken a chance. I think you're bankering number 2, Troppo Veloce. It's a case of flipping the coin, and are you in the camp of Golden Sickle, who's on a winning streak? And then you've got Troppo Veloce, which you believe could be the horse to beat.
I do indeed, Sheldon. I know that there was a length and a quarter between them when they met in the sophomore on the 23rd of December, and there's only a kilo in it, so that might not be enough on paper to turn it around. However, I'm of the opinion that the fact that Golden Sickle looked to be leaning onto Troppo Veloce a little bit over the closing stages on the 23rd of December, and that may have just taken the wind out of her sails. Almost looked like she just dug her heels, and right at the end, when shifting inwards, did Troppo Veloce. So I think that if she just runs in a straight line and kind of ignores the pack, that she will be a very, very hard horse to beat. I love the filly that she's become, this Daughter of Rafif. I remember when she was a 2-year-old with Ashley Fortune, she looked a certain way. In fact, I gave her a bit of an each-way chance on the grade 1 Alan Robertson at Hollywoodbets Scottsville, and she obviously not quite that good. It wasn't quite that good. But the horse that I saw at the Vaal on the 26th of October, the girl had become a real lady, and she's maintained that form, she's maintained that look, and I believe that she's on the up. So she got a £2 penalty for being a narrow winner over one fell swoop. But you look at Golden Sickle, and I know that this is obviously a handicap, but she's a 116. I mean, that puts her in the range of running in the SA Philly Sprint at Hollywoodbets Scottsville. and I don't believe that she'll quite be good enough to win that. So, I think the ratings might be a little bit skewed, and I think Troppo Veloce might be able to get one over number 1 Golden Sickle this time around.
That'll move us into the zone of race number 5, and just taking a look at the betting for race 5, we have number 3 Western Wishes as your marginal 22-10 favorite, number 2 Princess Ilaria at 28-10, Miss Shavi at 9-2, and then it's 7-1 and Better the Balance. Alistair, looking at race number 5, it's a 74 handicap. And just looking at their last runs, a number of them were unplaced, and then you got the top 2 in the board, Princess Ilaria, who won last time out, and the interesting runner, Western Wishes, who won and then ran 4th last time, just over 2 lengths behind Richard Veree for Lorenzo Karim, and the Samanga Kamalo combination for Frankie Brandhorst.
Yeah, Sheldon, the 3 horses I've got on my pick 6 are the 3 at the top of the boards. I don't think we need to go shopping much further than that. They're all very interesting, but for different reasons. You're right in the fact that Princess Ilaria was probably a fluent winner over Robert Burns last time, therefore beating the boys, and now she comes up against her own 6. That's got to be some sort of benefit. She's back over a similar distance. Is she the same horse at Turffontein, though? I don't know. I mean, I respect her chances. I know she's won on the inside track, so I suppose if you can win at the Val, you can win on the Turffontein standside track. But I think that she saves her absolute best for the Val, number 2, Princess Ilaria. But it's difficult to ignore her chances, especially with the fluency of her last win and the fact that Blink Kamalo is back on board. 3 Western Wishes, very interesting. Daughter of What a Winter, second run after a long layoff. Her first run back was a good one in KZN behind Stingray, where she seemed to be doing her best work at the end. Richard Veree takes her out for Lorenzo Karim. That's a combination you don't see too often. I don't know who would have called who. Richard's very sharp, and Lorenzo and Mano Pandaram are also real thinkers out of the box when it comes to placing horses and getting them into the right place. Will she go the trip? She runs like she'll get the trip, but that's got to be some sort of query. But my top choice here is number 8, Miss Chivy. I've been waiting for her for a while. Her ratings come down. She's running in probably a similar type of class on what she has been running of late. Fillies and Mares 74, but with a little bit less weight. Informed Calvin Habib takes her out for an informed Stuart Pettigrew. I know that winning doesn't come too easy for this Daughter of What a Winter, but I've been watching her quite closely, and I'd like to believe that if My Lady Soul was in this race, she would comfortably be a first choice, and I think she'd have this measure of the field quite convincingly. So I think number 8, Miss Ivy, might be in the right place this time around, off a slight rating drop to be able to run her best race in a while. She's not one that we can absolutely trust, but I'd have a little win bet on number 8, Miss Ivy, although I do respect the chances of numbers 2 and 3 as backup.
There we go. There could be a little bit of value there at around about 9-2. So Miss Shavi at 9-2 could be having a little bit of a wager on the nose, as Alistair mentioned. As we move on to the next event, which will be race number 6, and looking at race number 6, it's over 1,400 meters. The betting suggests that number 9, Midwinter Wind, will once again be on the winning trail after going back-to-back and improving 3-year-old gelding. 5 runs for the 2 victories and 3 placings. Number 11, Bob's Your Uncle, 5-1, and then it's 6-1 and Better the Rest. Alistair, you've gone with numbers 2, 3, and 9. Let's start with number 9, Midwinter Wind, with the 54 kilograms on the back, whereas numbers 1, 2, and 3, they got the 62 on the back. How do you rate this horse, Midwinter Wind?
Nice progressive 3-year-old, well-bred son of What a Winter, out of a mare that you'll remember well, Lady in Black, who was owned by Jack Mitchell and trained by Dennis Dry and ridden a lot by Sean Veal. I love the way that this horse is going about his business. He does go back to 1,400 metres, probably the trip that he ran his worst race, being beaten 2.5 lengths by Ryan's Boulevard, who has been a trifle disappointing since getting out of the maidens. But this horse is seriously progressive, Sheldon, and I think if he's going to be anything, and I think he might be of a decent amount of ability, maybe not grade 1 level, but I think he's definitely above average. then he ought to show his mettle in this race with 54 kilos. That's another point that you make. Richard Fourie getting down to 54 kilos, although he can do it, he's not going to do it on a horse that he doesn't believe in. And he's ridden this horse 3 times before, and he's not won in them yet, and Yenny and Munga have. So I think Richard will, obviously the dedication that he's showing to get down to the weight to 54 kilos, I think is a big pointer. And number 9, Midwinter Wind, is clearly my top choice. But there are 2 horses, one that I'm a big fan of, and one that put up a very good run last time out that I'm going to use as backup. I've always been a believer in number 2, Laguna Verde. I've been from plenty times. I like that he came back to best when there was money down on him last time out. I know he's got a lot of weight to shoulder, but I believe that confidence boost that he may have gained from winning last time will probably propel him to maintaining his form. So if not winning, I can see him going very close. Number 2, Laguna Verde. And number 3, Texas Red. Although he carried 52 kilos last time in a Pinnacle Stakes, he had a horrific draw, and that race was as strong as a grade 2. I mean, that Pinnacle Stakes was basically the warm-up for the horse Chestnut, which was a very, very strong bunch of nominations. Horses like Cousin Casey was next to Texas Red. Dave the King was just in front of Texas Red. He finished in front of Safe Passage, who didn't run a nice race subsequently. But the point is, Texas Red finished in and around grade 1 horses last time, and that's too good to ignore. So obviously the weight's not in the side. He's down in class. The weight's up 10 kilos for number 3, Texas Red. But go watch that last run closely, and all the horses that were around him. That's got to make him some sort of player here.
It'll take us on to race number 7 as the things start to heat up when it comes to the feature race. This is the Betway National Currency Sprint, grade 3 for the 3-year-olds. And we all know how good National Currency was, and a top sprinter. So this 1100 meter trip, we've got a horse called Lucky Lad, who was 4 from 4 before his last run, and he'll be looking to add this grade 3 to his CV. He's currently priced up at 9 to 10. He opened up around 12 to 10. Richard Fourie, each and every win counts. He's looking to go for that big challenge there, so obviously he'll be looking to bring Lucky Lad back into the winner's enclosure. He has been off for a bit, and let's see how he goes. What do you think of him?
Yeah, Sheldon, I'm glad I'm doing the National Currency Sprint with you, because famously your commentary when he won the Mercury Sprint, the horse with the movie star looks, that really stuck with me. So and he was, I mean, that was the most appropriate comments for the horse. So yeah, brilliant. Nice to get a race in the honour of the great National Currency, who was trained by Michael Azzi, ridden a lot by Washam, I mean, various others as well. So as for the race, in the cold lighter day, Lucky Lad's a good thing, but how badly will he need it after 210 days off the track? That's got to be the burning question here, because obviously his last run on Gold Cup Day was all wrong. Everything went horribly wrong. The last time I actually spoke to a member of the Terry side was actually his son Daniel, who loves to give a few hints and clues. He said, Lucky Lad's coming back to the course soon. I spoke to him, I think it was on King's Plate Day that I spoke to him about Lucky Lad. Could have been Met Day. Lucky Lad's coming back to the course, and you'll see him bounce back. Now, Daniel's obviously a very optimistic and passionate kid, and everything that his father trains is a good horse. However, with that said, there's no doubt that Lucky Lad's a good horse. He showed that as a 2-year-old. He's a grade 1 winner. He's won 3 feature races as an aside, and he's worth every chance of having a good 3-year-old campaign now that he's back on track. Is this a pressure run? No, I can't see it being a pressure run. Considering that there are pickings to come, races like the Senior Sands. I don't know if the computer form sprint will be on the horizon for the sun to give me the green light, but most certainly there are races in Durban for him to target, and that I think will add to the impetus of the sprint races, the Grade 1 sprint races in KZN during champion season, which isn't as far away as many might believe. So number 1, Lucky Lad, clearly the most interesting horse, clearly the best horse in the race, but how ready will he be? If he's not ready, then 3 Cliffhanger and 7 One Fell Swoop come into the reckoning. I don't for one second believe that they're as good as Lucky Lad, but if they ever got an opportunity to turn over Lucky Lad, it will be here, because they fitter horses, they come in good form. Cliffhanger's always had something about him. He's a very consistent, hard-knocking horse. He cannot be totally ruled out. And then number 7, One Fell Swoop, even though she got beaten by Troppo Veloce last time, it was a good performance. She's got 51.5 kilos on her back. That's got to give her some sort of claims, number 7, One Fell Swoop.
Well, sprinting's the name of the day, and race number 8, once again a sprint, 1160 meters, so all the sprinters get to show their speed and who's got what it needs to win on the day. That'll take us on to races 8 and 9. So for the players looking to play the last double on the card, race number 8 says that number 1, Little Miss Moneybags, is 3-1. Number 3, Van Mile, 3-1. Number 4, Golden Aspen at 7-2. And then we have number 8, Red Carpet Girl at 4-1. The betting's very congested, and you've simply just put it down to putting the field in your pick 6.
Yeah, I've taken the easy way out in this race, I must be honest. I was having a good look at the form on Friday and trying to make head or tail what I was going to do, and there were a few times that I thought, well, I do think number 6 twice as well, it's the right horse, but can you narrow this race down? No, because there's a case that you can make for all of them, and there's serious disclaimers that you can have for all of them. Twice as well, probably well treated by the handicapper. A narrow win last time on the Turffontein inside track when committing from a deep draw and being able to hold off, count your chances. She got a reasonable draw this time. She comes in off a £2 penalty, so I'd like to believe that number 6 twice as well is going to be the horse that they need to beat. But she hadn't won for I think it was 18 months before that last win when beating Count Your Chances, and she's got a history of not being the most reliable coming out of the stalls either, number 6 twice as well. It looks like that's all ironed out, to be fair, but there'll be trust issues with number 6 twice as well. A case that you can make for all of them. Van Mile might have beaten a weak maiden field last time, but with blinkers and a tongue tie, at least he got the job done. He can kick on. He's very well bred. If there's rain around, there's none forecast, but if there is a sprinkling of rain, that brings number 4 Golden Aspen into the picture. 8 Red Carpet Girls, not without hope. Sheldon, it's a nightmare, the penultimate race. So I've been lazy and gone field.
Well, rather be safe than be sorry. Go the field, so you make sure that you go through, if you're standing in the pick 6, into the final race, which is race number 9. And once again, it will be a sprint trip, and this time it is over 1,000 meters. Now, looking at the betting, not too convincing. 4-1 the field, so it shows you the open nature of this race, with number 2 Virginia Beach, the 4-1 favorite. Number 6 Nettleton, 5-1, both firm in the market, along with number 7 Woman of Fame at 6-1. Number 8 Work of Time from 5-1 has gone 6 and 7-1, and then at 7-1 5 Virgin River, and also number 11 Law of Success. Then 10-1 number 1 There She Goes. Looking at race number 9, if you are looking to play a quartet, Alistair, are you looking for any upsets, or have you got a roving banker that we can go with, or how would you structure race number 9?
I don't know if we can go shopping for a horse at a big price in this final race, Sheldon, to be honest. Unlike the race earlier, though, there's a bit of form to work with, and there are a few horses who come in here with reasonable claims. So my numbers in the final leg of the pick 6 have gone a bit wider than what I might have to. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11. So number 2, Virginia Beach, Tony Peter trains. This will get the services of Calvin Habib on the back of 2 seconds to Woman of Power and Troppo Veloce. I think the run to Woman of Power is the one that we've got to look at closely, because she rather Woman of Fame, not Woman of Power. So yeah, 2 seconds of late for this daughter of Silvano. She started her career with a lot of promise, and I think the freshen up might just give her a little bit of a heads up here, this daughter of Silvano. So number 2 Virginia Beach definitely in the play. 5 Virgin River, I'm a big fan of this daughter of Vercingetorix out of Snug as a Bug. Alec Laird and Diego de Gavea team up. I was disappointed with her last run, where she probably went a little bit too hard, and she ended up falling in a hole, but I'm willing to give her another chance, number 5 Virgin River, because I believe her maiden win on Betway Summer Cup Day is one of the stronger pieces of maiden form around. Obviously, midwinter wind runs a few races earlier, and we've extolled the virtues of his chances. 6 Nettleton seeking a hat-trick. She's in great form. She's now got a habit of getting the job done, remembering where the winning line is, and scraping home. In the Ether, the horse who she beat last time came out and franked the form. 7 Woman of Fame's got to have every chance as well. Wherever Virgin River runs, Woman of Fame should be right there. 8 Work of Time, of course, is a full sister to William Robertson. William Robertson, the grade 1 performed son of Rafif. I don't know if she's quite as good as William Robertson, but her last run to Princess Ilaria could have been worse straight out of the maiden. She's now back to a sprint. That's likely to help her out. And number 11, Law of Success, as opposed to all the horses I've mentioned, she's tried and tested and she's earned her stripes, and her stripes are what they are. It's not like she's going to get much, much better, but she's banging at the door for a win. The blinkers go back on. I don't know if taking the blinkers off made any difference last time, to be fair, but, at least she's established at this level, and off a nice light weight, being an older filly, she could be the most dangerous horse in the race. But an interesting finale, a few windward chances, but I'm happy to settle on those horses that they are the likely winners. So it's about half the field.
Just one other runner to touch on is number 1. There she goes from the Moorwing stable, and with Nevanna Stilly in the irons. This is a 5-time winner from the 33 runs to date. Tried and tested, a 5-year-old. Would she be a horse that you'd include into the exactors and the swingers?
Not for me this time around, Sheldon. I know that she gets the advantage of a 4-kilo claim from Nerva Nastili, but she went up £6 for a penultimate win where it had a lot to do with Pierce Stradom turning over Sigrid Swing. And then last time, although she ran fairly to Midwinter Wind, and Midwinter Wind's a much better horse than anything that There She Goes runs with, I think that the handicapper may have just got the grips of her. Obviously, negating that penalty 2 runs back by using a 4-kilo claimer who rode a winner on Tuesday for Heather Adamson, but I do think that there's more progress from horses lower down the weights over number 1, There She Goes.
Well, that's been an absolute pleasure on the line with you, Alistair. That's a look at the 9-race program for Turffontein. We'll be looking forward to that. And now we're going to bring up your suggested bet. So for all those out there, hopefully the form continues to roll along. We know in this game when the wheel's turning, you just keep going and going. And then obviously when that wheel stops, you just got to take a little bit of a seat back and wait for the form to return. But at this point in time, you're on a forward-moving motion.
Yeah, and I'm being greedy by taking a pick 6, which starts at 2 o'clock with race number 4. So make sure those bets are on. I've opened up with a banker in the form number 2, Troppo Veloce, but 2, 3, and 8 in the second leg. So those horses, of course, are Princess Ilaria, Western Wishes, and Miss Shivey. Then gone 2, 3, and 9 in the third leg, Laguna Verde, Texas Red, and Midwinter Wind. Lucky Lad should win the Betway National Currency Sprint, but if there are any cobwebs, 3 Cliffhanger and 7 One False Swoop to challenge him by field in race 8, the penultimate leg of the pick 6, and gone a few horses, gone half the field in race 9, 2 Virginia Beach, 5 Virgin River, 6 Nettleton, 7 Woman of Fame, 8 Work of Time, and number 11 Law of Success. So gone with a 5-legged pick 6, hoping that we can survive the first leg with Troppo Veloce. After that, I think we could be close to home free.
Very much appreciated, as always, Alistair. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll be chatting to you soon. And all we can say is now the horses have to do it. You've done the studying. Thank you very much, Alistair. That's Alistair Cohen.
Yep, cheers, Sheldon. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thanks very much to Alistair. That's a wrap for the Turffontein card, 9-race program. So get involved in those exotics. Alistair's pointed you in the pick 6 direction. And as he mentioned, if we get through the banker in the first leg, we'll be looking to get right into the payout queue. So to you, the punter, and everybody out there enjoying the racing, have the best of luck, and may your horses be where you want them to be, in the number 1 box.